Live from New York, it's the NIT Championship Finals. It's Manhattan Madness when the NIT Finals tip off tomorrow at 8:30. Virginia Tech meets Marquette. Don't miss the action, only on ESPN.
Everybody's looking for him. He's going to have to heat something up here. There it is for three.
Just in the nick of time, Dana Barros breaking Michael Adams' record for consecutive games hitting a three-pointer. That shot made it 44 straight. Barros then popped a little noise at Indiana, too. Michael and Shaq, old school versus new school, classic R&B versus hardcore rap, grace versus power. It's also about stock in Nike or Reebok, McDonald's Michael meal, or the Shaq Pack by Pepsi. It's about two corporate conglomerates battling for turf on the court as well as on Madison Avenue.
Now Jordan, 2 seconds, lets it fly. And out he goes!
When Michael Jordan, the modern-day Elvis, left the building, or rather, the sport of basketball, Shaquille O'Neal naturally ascended to the top of the popularity charts. But now that Jordan has returned, does he immediately reclaim his position as the league's best player and top attraction?
Shaq was well on his way to becoming the icon, the player in the league. But with Michael coming back, certainly he takes that title right away from Shaq.
Who would you say is the signature figure in the NBA at this point? Would you say it's Mr. Jordan or Mr. O'Neal?
It's got to be money since he's back. I mean, he gave it to Shaquille a little bit, and Shaquille has done a great job, when the torch is passed to him momentarily, but the money is taking it back.
And speaking of money, not the nickname, but the actual greenbacks, Jordan is the sports world's endorsement leader, pulling in about $30 million a year. O'Neal's off-court revenue is estimated at $12.5 million a year and counting. With Jordan's return, what happens to their head-to-head competition on Madison Avenue?
Michael is an NBA player who probably has better brand recognition than the NBA. So that kind of recognition will lift any product associated with him to a height that no other pitchman can bring it to him.
Michael's never left. I mean, he is still the king. Believe it or not, after 2 years, he has still maintained his kingdom. If anything, there's a little bit of a setback for the Shaqs and maybe some of the other guys around the league where they've been heavily promoted the last 2 years.
Ironically, kids who were 2, 3, 4 years old when the Bulls were winning championships may now be more likely to identify with O'Neal. In fact, Jordan's own young sons are fans of Shaq.
Thanks.
With a 9-year age difference between the two, Jordan and O'Neal appeal to different demographics.
Michael is pretty much the establishment now. Shaq represents a lot of things that younger people key in on, sort of anti-establishment. Got the talent, haven't shown it yet. We're going to show them. They don't know what's coming yet.
Even if you try to compare them in on-the-court terms, we're not exactly talking about a Magic versus Bird fierce type of rivalry. First of all, Jordan owns 3 championship rings, while O'Neal is still winless in the playoffs. And their physical styles are so different, and that's reflected in the way each player is perceived.
As silly as it sounds, they can relate more to a guy 6'6" flying through the air. Than a guy 300 pounds, breaking down the backboards. It's much more than the style of play, Andrew. I think it's the personality. I think Michael has the most charming, natural, personality of any player in professional sports.
So Jordan has regained, if indeed he ever lost, his place in the sports world stratosphere. But if his skills do not return to their pre-retirement levels, will his legend diminish? Will he ultimately be overshadowed by Shaq?
This is an interesting time, though, as we go into the spring with the playoffs, where Shaq can make up some ground and create a territory and maybe a throne for himself. But to overtake Michael, no, I don't think this is going to happen this year.
You never know. Showtime is straight ahead as the Jam Posse welcomes back one of its original Jam Masters, Michael. The guy's got more jam than Smuckers. Dig this and stay with us.
Yeah.
I give a pound to my man with my right hand because I keep the Sprite in the left hand. Okay. And then I push the button when I don't want to hear nothing. I let it go when I want to hear something. Yeah. This is how we flow when we in the studio. Freestyle with Sprite, yo, how the rest go. First things first, a big yo thirsty.
Play the Under the Cap game, and you have a 1 in 6 chance of winning another Sprite. You can also win cool NBA stuff. Not too useful if you're thirsty. Handy if you plan on leaving the house.
Today's cars and trucks are more advanced than ever, but there is a price. Their harder working engines can wreak havoc on the motor oil, breaking it down almost immediately. That's why there's Castrol GTX. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, or your harder working engine could make things hard on you. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
This is Bill after playing Mario's Picross, the mind-building puzzle game where clues and numbers uncover hidden pictures. It's as challenging as Tetris. Mario's Picross on Game Boy and Super Game Boy.
It's so big.
Unique exercise for your brain.
Coming up at 6:30 Eastern, the Michael Jordan Comeback Tour plays New York tonight. The latest on the baseball strike with opening day on Sunday, and the Houston Rockets want to know why Akeem is so darn tired. Those stories on SportsCenter later.
Showtime is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola.
Inbounds to Michael. Racing the clock. Jordan for the win. Yes! I did it again! He is now back! This ought to be interesting. Oh, yeah. It was interesting. Missing error, and it's a track meet now. And they grab the slam by Penny Hardaway. Barkley's there for the rebound. Elijah on with a block shot right through the hands of Herrera. Inside again to Barkley, and he slams it home. Oh, what a pass. You said it. Kenny Smith front court. Stockton with him. Smith veers right. Up top to Chilcutt. Back door. Maxwell. Reverse layup. Well shot. Oh, baby. Save it for the highlight reel. Away from Cadillac Anderson by 50.